Welcome to the data entry tutorial for Upgame by Trackman. As we go over the Pro version, we'll be bringing in detailed analysis like target-based dispersion and quantifying our end shot results. While data entry averages around 15 minutes, the player will now be able to benefit from an extensive assessment of their game. To get started, we click the golf ball at the bottom, and in this menu, click Add Round. We search for the course we want to play, and once we have that set up, we select our game type by choosing whether it is a practice session or a tournament, and if it's a tournament, we can also separate those rounds from qualifiers as well. Once we load in, we see our satellite imagery of the course we chose with our Upgame interface. At the top, we can see the yardage of the hole, and at the bottom, we have options like adding penalties, recentering the map, and taking free drops. We also have the option of being able to change the par of the hole in case you're playing a par 5 as a par 4 for the day. We'll go over how to use the other options at the end of the video. To set up a hole, a player as well as a coach can adjust the tee positions and flags depending on the day's conditions. As we begin, we notice there is a target icon next to this golf ball at the bottom. This is going to be the intended line we want our shots to end up on. Here at the first hole, we'll set that target line a little right of the bunker. So we'll click that target and drag it up to that location a little right of the bunker. What's important to note is that off the tee, this target line is solely distance dependent, which means we could place this target farther or closer to us than our intended landing zone. Upgame is only tracking the line. In our analysis tutorial, we'll be able to see this represented. Secondly, we will place our shot by taking the golf ball now and dragging it up to the place that our shot really ended up and get a prompt that allows us to quantify the end shot result. Just like in the basic version, our shot category and lie have been detected, but now we can also plug in the conditions of the following shot. So now that we have these options here, an end shot result we see in play, and that can be defined as a shot that's in position to advance up to the green in regulation with ease. Note that this does not mean it needs to be in the fairway. A minor miss defines a situation that makes advancing up to the green a little more difficult, but not impossible. But a major miss is considered situations where advancing up to the green is unrealistic and they require heroic shots or punch-outs. But by differentiating these end shot results, we are now able to put a number on our tendencies and improve based on those results. We now also have the option to select which clubs we used, and we can differentiate that shot type. Choosing a pin section and a hole shape is also available, and lastly, we can also select our wind direction and the strength of the wind. Most of these variables are optional, but plugging them in allows for more analysis. As we set up for the approach shot, it's important to note that now our target is based on proximity and not just our intended line like it was back on the tee. The app will now track how far our shots are ending up from that target as well as the flag's location. Once again, we are met with our prompt to quantify the end shot result. Our shot came from the fairway and we hit the green in regulation, but if we missed, we can also separate that into 3 categories: an easy, medium, or hard situation. An easy situation can be defined as a short game shot that making it up and down from is realistic and should end up within about 6 feet. A hard one would be considered difficult or impossible to get within 15 feet. And that medium shot difficulty would of course fall into that distance window between easy and hard. We again have the option to select our club, which was a 7-iron, but now the shot type is also diversified all the way down to being able to select quarter, half, or 3/4 swings. As we move on to putting, Upgame will keep track of the break and distance, but additionally it's also keeping track of our speed control. We separate speed into these categories: past, safe zone past, hold, safe zone short, or short. The safe zone is going to be considered a 2-foot circle around the hole. Outside of 40 feet, however, the safe zone becomes 8% of the total distance. Speed ratio is also available as an optional metric that tracks your lag putting in greater detail. On top of the breaks, we can also select our line and whether or not it was a straight stroke, if we pushed the putt or pulled it, and we can also gauge the severity of the break as well. If it is a 2-putt, then on the second putt, we select that it was hold, and then we fill in its conditions. But if you need to add any more putts, we just select the Add Putt bar at the bottom. Let's go back and take a look at how to plug in a missed green. Along with defining our short game shot difficulty into these 3 categories, we can also track our wedge game in more detail. Let's say we hit that approach shot into the bunker instead and considered it a medium miss. Now that we are set up for this bunker shot, if we are not going to be aiming at the pin, we can actually choose a target. However, this is optional. If we don't choose this target, the flag will then become the automatic target in this case. Once that shot is placed, We are then able to specify that it was a bunker shot, but we also have the option of playing a finesse wedge, a lob shot, or a putt off of the green. So now that we know basic data entry as well as what it's like to plug in missed greens, we can take a look at what happens when we hit into penalty areas. The second hole is a long par 4 with a creek that crosses our landing zone. Our first shot is going to end up landing into that creek. Here we plug in the end shot result as penalty 1. Then we select the club and the type of shot we hit and any other conditions we would like to include, and now we are met with the add penalty prompt. We are going to be taking a drop. From here we place the ball just like we place a new shot in the place we are taking that drop, and then we just play from there. And for the case that a player needs to take relief, the free drop option is available. So let's say this next shot is going to end up on the cart path short left of the green. The free drop option functions similarly to taking a drop from the penalty area, but we simply place the ball in the spot we are taking relief, and then we play the hole out from there. So with Upgame Pro, we can see that in data entry it takes many variables into account, and the analysis a player receives from all of that data helps them obtain a deeper understanding of what they do well and how they can make changes to improve. Accessing the cumulative analysis section is where we can see the benefits of all of what we enter. Be sure to check that out on our channel and feel free to leave a comment down below for any questions and feedback. Thank you for watching.